Hi, and welcome to the Sit Down with Suzanne podcast. This is your girl, Suzanne.
Bum 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 positively Susan positively Susan bum 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 ba da da dum ba 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 positively Susan.
All right, welcome to this week's episode. So I'm so very excited about this week's episode. I have two very special guests with me today, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves. So the first guest is
Sophia Grace. And I'm Sarah Jessica.
All right. So you have heard me talk about them on almost every podcast. Those are my two beautiful daughters, and they are joining me today. There's been a lot of episodes that I've spoken of them, and I wanted to bring them on for the right episode. So there's just been so much things in the news about bullying, and other kids just hurting each other and other kids hurting themselves. So I wanted to just highlight a couple of things about bullying and have a conversation with my girls if they've ever experienced it and how they handle a bully. So Sophia Grace, talk to me. What do you think bullying is?
It's where people are like mean to other people, but sometimes like the other people who they bully, like they don't do anything to them. They just be mean for some reason.
Okay. And Sarah Jessica.
I think bullying is when another person who is feeling down or feeling bad about themselves takes it out on somebody else who they find is happy just to make themselves feel better because you never know what's happening. It might be something at home, it might be it's something at school about like classes. So they just feel that if they take it out on other people that they're going to feel better about themselves.
Well, that's an interesting take. And I know that you and I have had a lot of conversation about bullying. And I don't want you to say that because that's what you think I want to hear. I honestly want to know what you think about bullying. And, but I think sometimes bullies are just people who are mean.
I agree.
So talk to me. Have you ever been bullied? Sophia Grace, have you ever been bullied?
No.
Have you ever seen anyone be bullied?
No.
Okay. So do you know of anyone that has been bullied?
Um, no.
Okay. What about you, Sarah Jessica? Talk to me about bullying.
Yes, I have been bullied before. Yes, I have seen plenty of other people been bullied, and I do know some people have been bullied. So, what I want to say about bullying is that if you're being bullied, don't try and keep it to yourself because you are scared of going to tell an adult. If you're being bullied in a place where you see no one or you're just scared to tell someone, go and find a responsible adult and tell them because when you tell that adult, they are going to try and fix the problem instead of you trying to handle the problem yourself. Trust me from experience, don't try and handle the problem yourself. Tell the closest adult you can find because it's going to help a lot.
All right. So when you were being bullied, how did you feel?
I felt sad, but I also knew that the stuff they said wasn't true. It was just them saying things to try and make me feel bad about myself and trying to put me down.
Can you share with us some of the things that they said to you? Or is that too personal? If you don't want to, it's okay. You don't have to.
No, it's fine. They said stuff about me being ugly, that I'm not talented, and that's most of the stuff they said.
Hmm.
You know, that, yeah, I'm just ugly, talented, um, no one likes me, I have no friends, my parents don't love me.
Well, that's a lie.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, that is a lot because even as an adult, if somebody called another adult ugly, or that they have no talent, or people don't love them and have no friends or things like that. It hurts them. And I remember having a lot of conversation with you about being bullied and how it made you feel. So, how did you turn that around though? How did you learn not to feel bad about it?
So, of course, when I was younger, I had felt sad and had felt the stuff that they said was true. But as I got older, I had learned to realize, after many talks about it, that none of the stuff they're saying was true about me. Because if um, I don't believe it, then it obviously must not be true.
Oh, wow.
Because I should learn to love myself for who I am and let other people have their own opinion about me. So, like, I'm saying, they can have their own opinion, like, okay, thanks for your opinion. I'll keep that in mind. But I know that for me, I have the opinion about myself. I love myself. I have friends and family who love me and care about me.
All right. So let me jump to Sophia Grace for a minute. Sophia Grace, I know earlier you had said that you didn't know anybody who was being bullied. How do you feel that your sister, Sarah Jessica, was bullied? How does that make you feel hearing that?
It makes me feel like kind of mad and like um kind of sad that she was bullied, but I'm just happy that she knows that she's beautiful and pretty and talented.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, if the situation changes and as you get older, you are bullied and somebody's saying those things about you, how are you going to react?
Um, I would just say okay because it doesn't really affect my feelings because I know that I'm beautiful and I'm talented and people love me and care about me
Oh, so how do you know that? You're 6 years old. How do you know all that?
because I'm smart and I listen in school and my teacher tells me many things about that I'm smart and I'm really talented.
Oh, that's wonderful. All right, Sarah Jessica. So I know that, and because I'm your mom, I know a lot of stuff about you. But I remember one particularly tough year that you were being bullied, and several friends of yours were being bullied. And I remember you standing up for a friend that was being bullied. So, what made you decide to stand up for a friend, knowing that it would call even more attention to you, because you're already being bullied?
Um, it just made me even more upset that people just have the nerve to just be bullies to people for no absolutely no reason. And the thing that made me stand up for her was because she's my friend and she had helped me through the times when I was being bullied and I was being sad. And sometimes, like, I just didn't even want to go to my class. And she had helped me through those times. And when she was being bullied, I was like, enough is enough. And at that point, I wasn't thinking of how it would cause more attention to me. But honestly, even if it did, I didn't care because nothing they could say or do at that point could phase me.
Okay, that is a very strong attitude to have. And I know you just started high school, and I know it's going to get even tougher because high school girls, I don't know if you've seen that movie Mean Girls, they can be brutal. So I love that you have this confidence in you and that you're able to know that what they're saying is not true, and that not only can you stand up for yourself, you can stand up for others, but it's going to get even rougher. So I'm hoping that you can still carry that same attitude. I'm hoping that, you and I can continue to have great conversations about bullying. I try to tell you every day how beautiful you are, how talented you are, how smart you are. I try to tell both you and your sisters that every day. And I'm grateful that you guys listen to that. I'm grateful that you guys believe that. And as you guys get older, and the bullies will change, that you guys will continue to believe about yourselves those things. So if you look in the media, and I know that I've tried to keep you guys from social media, and that's why I don't let you guys have Facebook and Instagram and things like that. You're only 6 years old, Sophia Grace, so you will not have that yet. But because I think there's so much bullying that happens on social media. So talk to me about is going on goes on in the world, because I know you guys do see some level of social media. And what do you think about just the level of meanness that the adults do in this world?
Well, some adults like they bully other adults because adults don't bully kids. They usually just bully adults because they don't want to hurt the parents. They want to. They sometimes they just hurt the parents' feelings for no reason, and they're just mad about it, and they like to take it on other people.
I think you guys have a really interesting take and a very good take that people who hurt people are hurt themselves, so they feel like if they hurt others, they'll feel better about themselves. So, Sarah, Jessica, same question, but to you. What do you think of this world that we live in that adults are just so mean to each other?
I think that it's just time to stop and just try and get along. And also, like, it's like on social media, we just call it cyberbullying. And yeah, I just think that we should just stop and we should all just try and get along because at the end of the day, we all find out there is no point to bullying, there's no reason for bullying. And like maybe later on in life, if you realize maybe it's the other way around. You were the bully and then now you're getting bullied by someone else and then you feel like, man, I really feel bad for bullying that person, but now I'm in that situation where I'm the one getting bullied.
Okay. Sophia, you brought up a very interesting point. You said that adults are bullying other adults and adults don't bully kids. And unfortunately, recently, I did listen to something where adults were being mean. So you guys know who Beyonce is, right?
Yes,
Yes. Who's Beyonce?
a famous singer who is beautiful and talented.
All right.
And she has a very good voice, and that she loves to sing.
Okay. All right. So Beyonce has a daughter called Blue Ivy who just turned, of course, I know you know who Blue Ivy is.
Yeah, it's her daughter.
Yes. Okay. So the other day, she turned 8, and two adult reporters were talking about this little girl and were saying that she was not beautiful, she looked like her father, and things like that. And they were very, very mean. Do you think it's okay that adults are bullying kids like that? And what should happen to these adults?
No, it's not okay, and that these adults should probably go say, I'm sorry to the daughter and the mom, and that like they should start being like nice, or just if you have nothing nice to say to them, then say nothing about it.
Wow, that's some good advice. Sarah Jessica, what do you think?
Well, I think how it was mean how they brought up the fact that she's not beautiful and that she had looks like her father. I think that no matter what you look like, you're beautiful. It's not about your appearance, but it's about your personality. And I am pretty sure that that 8-year-old little girl has a beautiful personality. And if they ever hear this, I want Blue Ivy to know that she doesn't need to worry about what those reporters says. Just listen to what her mom and her dad say about her.
Oh, that's wonderful. I absolutely agree. I think when adults get to the point where they are putting down little kids and talking about little kids, I think they really need to check themselves. Really and truly, like you are so low that you can talk about little kids. I think that's awful. And it doesn't matter if it's celebrity kids, because, I remember at one of the reporters had said something like, forgive me if I don't feel bad for, rich people or something like that. But it's not about that. It's not about how much money the parent has. It's not about how famous the parent has. Like Sophia Gray says, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And you're right, Sarah Jessica. She should not listen to them. She should listen to her parents. But I was a young girl once. I know you guys might find this hard to believe, but I was a teenager at one point, and when you become a teenage girl, there's so many feelings and so many things that go into it, and you are constantly bombarded by things, and you don't know if you're pretty, and you don't know if you're smart, and then other kids are getting attention and you're not getting attention and things like that. So it really messes with your psyche. It really messes with your mind if you're beautiful and if you don't fit the traditional norms of beauty. I mean, I happen to think this little girl is absolutely beautiful, but it shouldn't even be a conversation we're having. It shouldn't be something that we're discussing. We shouldn't be here discussing whether this little girl is beautiful or not. I think what we should be discussing is what these two people said, and should they be held accountable? Absolutely. And should they lose their job? Absolutely. I think we have to draw the line somewhere. And I know over the years, our morality and our standards and the things that are acceptable has fallen, and we're getting lower and lower about the things that are acceptable. But I think we need to draw the line. We cannot bully other kids. And when we look at the rate of people that suffer from mental health issues, from people who are committing suicide, from people who are depressed, and people who don't want to see other people, you can look back at, how other people are treating them. You can look back at how the world is. You can look back at what society is like. And we spend a lot of time just being mean. And we've got to stop that. We've got to stop being mean. And we've got to figure out a way to be nice to each other.
I totally agree with you. We do need to draw a line. And yes, I totally agree that those reporters should lose their job for that. Yes, you could talk about other adult celebrities because it's your job to report on that. But no one has ever given you the job to report and be rude about little kids. She's just an 8-year-old girl. Because I bet you, if those reporters have kids and they post a picture of their daughter or their son on social media and they find a comment saying, your daughter looks ugly, she's not beautiful, she looks just like you, how would you feel? You wouldn't like it. So if you don't like it, if you wouldn't like it, someone just talking about your daughter like that, why would you do it to somebody else?
Do you agree?
Yes, I agree with that. And also that if you're mean to someone and like you don't have a chance to talk to them, they'll never forgive you, and you can never forgive them because they're not there anymore, and you won't have time to. But you could just pray to God that they forgive you and you forgive them.
This is true. I mean, you bring up an interesting point. If you're mean to somebody and something happens and you don't get an opportunity to apologize, that's the last image that somebody has of you. And, I mean, there's times if somebody makes you mad, you can say something mean to them. But, I think in the heat of the moment, and then, you apologize and move on. But to go out of your way to be mean to people, to go out of your way to bully people, it's not okay. And Sarah Jessica, I'm going to talk about something very personal. I think you and I have experience where we have had to talk about friends who were touched by suicide, somebody that felt that the world would be a better place without them, and how that person felt. So I think that is important that we connect with people and we stand up for people and let people know how loved they are and not bully others.
I totally agree, and yes, I did have a friend who had felt that way. And they, when they had told me, they had just, I honestly didn't expect it from them because, and I'm not saying that just because of the way they act sometimes that you shouldn't expect it from them, but people are getting bullied. It took her longer to, and sometimes it might be the first day somebody gets bullied that they might want to go ahead and try and commit suicide. And she said she had wanted to do it, so it was then to school. we I just went home and told my mom, and my mom had called the principal. And I am glad that I had ended up telling my mom because we I had saved her from doing something that she would have regretted because trust me, if if you do that, there is no going back. It's over. And I'm thankful that I had her as a friend because she had also brought me through the tough times when I was being bullied. And her parents were very thankful that I told her, and she had talked about it, and she had realized that the world wasn't a better place off without her. Because if someone tells you that the world is a better place without you, please do not believe them. Because God has put you in this place for a reason. You have a purpose on earth here. If you didn't, you would not be here. So you obviously have a purpose here if you are on this earth. And I just want to let everyone know that.
I agree with you, and um that everyone um I hope that you don't get bullied, because if you do, I hope you know there's a way to get through it without getting probably like in trouble, because a lot um someone um in my school, like they were in a fight, and someone like hit someone, probably like I don't know where, somewhere like maybe on their leg, and hurt it, and they went they went to their teacher, and they got in big trouble. So I hope you know there's a way to find around it without getting in trouble.
You are correct. I'm so glad, I'm so blessed and so grateful to call you girls my daughters, that I'm able to have these conversation with you. Sophia Grace, you are correct. There is a way to combat bullying without fighting. And sometimes you feel like you're all alone, and you go in a fight, and then you move from being the victim to the aggressor, and you can get in trouble for that. And Sarah Jessica, when you had went through that, my heart ached for you, but I was so proud of you for the decisions that you made in that moment. And I'm sure that your friend is grateful, for that, for those decisions that you made in those moments. And you are right. You are placed on this earth for a purpose. And God created you for a reason. So the world will not be better off without you in it. And I think it's important for people to know that. And I think one of the things us as parents, do, we tend not to have the conversations with our kids about certain things. And, when I had that conversation with Sarah Jessica about suicide, it was not a conversation that I had kind of had with her before, because I didn't think that it was something that she needed to have. But I found out pretty quickly that, if you don't teach your kids, the world will teach them, other kids will teach them. And all I can say is, parents, talk to your kids so that they're able to trust you and come to you with things, and that you're able to deal with it. I know people who have been affected by it, and unfortunately, it wasn't such a happy ending. So I'm just going to encourage you to try to talk to them as much as possible, and look for the signs, when they're withdrawn, if they're thinking of hurting themselves, or they say, address it right away. Create a sense of urgency around it, and talk to them. Seek help as much, and there's no shame in it, as much professional help as you can, just to ensure that this person is protected, this person is taken care of. um, and if you're a parent, and no parent likes to be here, but if your child is the one that is bullying others, and the teacher calls you and tells you that your child is bullying others, do not go there upset and say, my child doesn't do that. Pay attention. Pay attention to what is happening because you don't want your child to be the cause of some other child harming themselves. And I know it's hard because we raise our kids and we want them to be who we think they are. And most of the times they are. But sometimes kids are influenced by other kids. Sometimes kids are influenced by the things that they see. So we just have to ensure that we give them a safe space. And even if they're the bully, they're your child, you're going to love them. But talk to them about, what bullying does. Talk to them about what being a bully, the impact it has on others. And if your child is the one being bullied, have that conversation, with them. Like I said, I did experience it with Sarah Jessica. I had to have a lot of candid conversations with her just to make sure that she knew that what they were saying was not true. And I'm glad that I was able to invite them onto the podcast to have this conversation with them because I know that they were in a good place. I know that I have had a ton of conversation with them about stuff, and they know that they're loved, they know that they're valued, they know that they're smart, they're beautiful, that the world will not be a better place without them in it, and that they could come to me with anything. You know what I say to you guys? I'm going to be mad. You know that. When you do something I don't agree with, I'm going to be mad, but I will always forgive you, and we're going to forget it and move on. So I'd rather you tell me and we fix it, or you fix it, versus not tell me. So I always want you guys to be able to come to me and ask my advice for anything. So I really wanted to talk about, like I said, bullying and what it means and how to get bullied. And it took me a while to have the conversation on air, with the girls about it, because I also know that once I put them on the podcast and I put it out there, their voices will be out there, and then it will invite others and give them the opportunity to then talk about them and discuss them and things like that. But I'm pretty confident that they're in a good place and that they'll be able to handle it and that we'll be able to go from there. So I am just grateful for who they are. And I'm grateful that they both know who God is in their life and that they were able to talk about this. And they did not know they were going to be on the show. Came home from school and I told them, I'm like, hey, let's do a show. And we're doing it. And they're talking. And, Sophia Grace is getting over a cold. So you might hear her coughing off and on in the background. And Sarah Jessica is a real trooper. She has her homework to get to in a minute. But I just wanted to continue to have the conversation with them about how important it is to believe in themselves. So we talked about bullying. So how important is it to believe in yourself, Sophia Grace?
Honestly, it is really important to believe in yourself because, like, let's say you're gonna do a test and you don't believe in yourself. You never know if you're gonna get the test right if you don't try. So I say you should always believe in yourself because, like, maybe let's say you want to do like a cartwheel, but like it's on the hard ground. You're gonna want maybe somebody to be there, and then you could try it out. But once you get better and better, you don't need anyone to be there because you're gonna believe in yourself.
All right. So it's very important to believe. Sarah Jessica, how important is it to believe in yourself?
I think it is one of the most important things in the world to believe in yourself because if you don't believe in yourself, how are you supposed to make it in anything? Like, say you're going up for an interview. If you don't believe that you can get that job, then you have to have confidence when you walk into that interview. If you don't have confidence, and you don't believe, what makes you think that they're gonna believe that you have it? When like Sophia said, when you're doing a test, believe 100% that you can do it. Even if you've studied all night, believe 100% you could do it. Believe yourself for anything. And I'm not saying that when I was being bullied, that I never got scared, that I didn't want to get out of bed and go to school, because there was obviously times that has happened. But from my mom telling me about the stuff and teaching me to how to deal with it. I've learned that what they're saying is not true. And if you need somebody to talk to your parents because your parents are the people you can trust, are the people that in hard times you're supposed to go to because they love you and you love them and you just want to spend as much time with them and you also just want to tell them about everything because when you're small, they're your best friends in life forever.
Oh, that is so sweet. All right, thank you, girls. I appreciate you coming on the show without any prep and just being your honest, authentic self. You know, one of the things about this show, it is live to a point because I record the episode and I upload it and there's no prep and there's no do-overs. So, I'm okay with mistakes, right? Because I did that episode about being perfectly okay with being imperfect. So, perfectly imperfect can make mistakes. Absolutely. And Sarah Jessica, I adore you. I adore both of you guys. You are the best girls, the best kids anybody could ever have, and I appreciate it. And Sophia Grace, I hope you never experience being bullied. But if you do get bullied, I am fully confident that you'll be able to stand up for yourself.
Yes, I will.
What was that?
Yes, I will.
I know you will. I remember a couple years ago, I think you were in preschool, and we were talking about bullying, and you had said, if somebody tries to bully me, I'm going to say to them, please go over there with that. I thought that was hilarious, right? So I'm glad they didn't get a chance to bully you because then you'd be like, please go over there with that. Absolutely. No, I don't think. And if they met you, I know they're not even going to try. Plus, they got your big sister to contend with, right?
They sure do.
So, all right, guys. So, any last thought, anything you want to say? You have said so many great things about people believe in themselves, little kids. So, if you had to sign off right now, and I'm going to wrap up the show with my thoughts, but if you wanted to give advice to kids, what would you tell them, Sophia Grace?
That um that they can believe in themselves for doing anything, and just letting you know if you get bullied, tell an adult and make them fix the problem, or you could fix it yourself. And I want you to know that your parents love you. If they say you're not talented, just hope you know you can believe in anything about yourself, because if you make it come true one day, then they can't say anything, because at least you know yourself and they don't.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any last advice, Sarah Jessica?
Yes. So, like Sophia said, one day, one day, you are definitely going to be talented. You might be talented right now. You might be talented in something of your own thing. But I want you to know that if you're being bullied, the only thing you gotta say to them with confidence, and if this doesn't work, then go to adult. Just say, you can have your own opinion about me, but I have my own opinion. My family has their own opinion. My friends have their own opinion. And they all seem to love me. So obviously, yours is incorrect. And if that doesn't work, then just go to an adult because an adult will most likely fix the problem.
All right. Thank you, ladies. That's some good advice. I hope if there's any little kids listening, that they will take that advice. Some great gems, ladies. Believe in yourself, stand up for others. You are talented, you are beautiful, and you can try to fix the problem by standing up for yourself to say, hey, I don't believe you. I am beautiful and I'm talented, or please go over there with that. But bottom line, always find an adult you trust and you can talk to that adult, whether it's a teacher, and use your parents. I am a big believer. Remember, I tell you guys, I don't want any secrets from me. So tell me. I know you don't have any secrets. So you guys just got to continue to talk to your parents about everything. All right. So as I continue to wrap up this show, I just think it's so important for us as parents to have the conversation with our kids about bullying. And if you see signs of the kid being withdrawn or things like that, to be comfortable having the conversation with them, and talking to them about it, and don't ignoring it, and seeking help whenever needed, and partnering with the teachers, the parents. I am not afraid to reach out to the teachers, the principal, the guidance counselor, call it anybody. This is my child. This is your child. Do what you have to do to protect them. And if your child is the bully, same, just as how you would be that strong advocate, that you would stand up for them, that you would call the principal and you'll say all these things. I want you to do the same thing as if your child is the one being bullied. So if your child, you got to get them out of that habit. You got to talk to them. You got to show them the effects of bullying. And if you're being bullied and you're thinking, and even if you're not being bullied, but you're thinking this world is a better place without you, you need to stop. This world is not a better place without you. In the past few years, we have seen so many stories reported about suicide, from famous people to semi-famous people to not to ordinary people. In TV shows, we have seen suicide. There is a national suicide prevention hotline. The number is 1-800-273-8255. That is the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. So if you are feeling suicidal, call that number. They're available 24 hours a day. If you feel that the world will be a better place without you, seek an adult, get professional help. There's also local agency. I would love for 2020 to see less reports in the news about suicide, whether it's from celebrities, whether it's from veterans, whether it's from teens, college kids, anyone that's being persecuted, that's being bullied, that's being ostracized, that feels like the world would be a better place without them. I want to see less of that happening in the world. I want lives saved. So let's make sure we're doing our part with being better people, with giving information, with talking to our kids, with encouraging our kids to believe in themselves, for encouraging our kids not to bully others, not to treat others poorly. Let's make 2020 the year where we reduce, if not eliminate, suicides. That would be awesome. So, um, I hope you're able to have somebody in your life that you can trust, that you can talk to. Like I said, as a student, if it has to be a teacher, a guidance counselor, a pastor, a trusted family friend. And here's something that we often don't talk about sometimes. Sometimes the things that are happening to us are happening with someone or from someone that we love, someone that is supposed to protect us. And for those of you in that situation, my heart bleeds for you. So, my wish, my hope is that you can find somebody who can help you. Um, and although your trust might be a little broken in adults or loved ones, just know that there are genuinely good people out there, people who want to help you. So, I want you to help them. What I would certainly like to see this year also, is more schools doing more things about bullying, putting programs and systems in place that addresses bullying, putting things in place that there are repercussions for kids who bully other kids. And let's not wait till it escalates to the point where these kids are retaliating, you know, by doing something even more drastic. Just like Martin Luther King says, hate doesn't drive out hate. So here's a saying from my childhood: two wrongs doesn't make a right. So just because somebody's being bullied doesn't give them the right to do an even worse act. So let's ensure that we are doing our part as adults, as parents, as guardians, as a human being, to make sure that we are good to people, to make sure that we react urgently to things that are happening um, right around us. We all, we get upset and, we get crazy when we see things on the news of, what's happening there and what's happening. But let's solve the things in our immediate surrounding, and then let's work on solving the things that are out there. Trust me, there's a lot of things in this world that needs to be worked on. There's a lot of things in this world that needs to be saved. And there's a lot of things that we can do to make an impact, but we have to fix the things at our home. And it begins with starting in your own home, making it right with your family, making it right in your school, in your community, in your neighborhood, so that we can make this world a safer place. Kids, they used to say kids are the future. No, kids are the today. These kids, there's so many things that are impacting them, that are affecting them, global warming, technology, technological advances and things like that. They're in a place that we couldn't fathom when we were kids. They're dealing with so much that we couldn't deal with. I mean, when I was a kid, I had never heard the term suicide and things like that. But now we're in the day and age where they see it everywhere. And it doesn't matter if you say, I'm going to protect them at home and I'm not going to let them watch TV or watch social media. Because once they go out to school and they interact with the public, they're going to see it. Walking in to a store, the stores have the news on, and there's things on the news that go on, and, they can hear. So, ignorance is not bliss. So you not sharing it with them doesn't mean that they're not getting this information. So let's ensure that we're talking to them about things so that they don't go out there and get that information out there, and make it so that your home is a safe zone. Your home is a safe place where they could talk about stuff. So I'm glad I got a chance to have this conversation with my girls. I'm glad that where they are, and I'm going to continue to have this conversation with them every single day, because I want them to be safe, and I want their friends to be safe, and I want their school to be safe. I want their community to be safe. I would love, like I said, to just reduce suicide this year, 2020, but it's going to take all of us. So let's first start in our schools. Let's end bullying now. All right, so I'm going to wrap up. Sophia Grace, I'm always saying bye a few times, but I'm really going to say bye. So, any final thoughts and goodbyes?
Um, just want to say thank you for letting me be on the show, and that I hope you all have a good day.
I agree with Sophia. Thank you for letting us be on the show. I'm honored. And yes, I hope everybody has a good day and a good night. And that that it just keeps on happening for them. They just keep on having a good day.
Good night.
Just like this podcast is like a good luck charm, like a good day video for them.
Aww, your girls are too good. Well, I thank you guys for being on the show. I appreciate you guys. I always enjoy our conversations. And I hope you guys know that I love you to the moon, the star, and back.
And God.
And God. I knew you were going to say that. That's why I didn't say it, but not more than God. So thank you guys. And until the next episode, I am saying bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right, toodles. And I will talk to you soon.